500 years ago, Inca parents offered their children as sacrifices to the gods. The mummified remains of child victims show that the children were drugged and then left to die on a freezing mountain. The people responsible for these heinous acts lived in a time of myth and superstition. Appeasing their gods was more important to them than the life of an individual child. But today, we should know better. So how have we reverted to a time when parents can willingly sacrifice their children on the altar of wokeness? Welcome to Surviving Wokeland with Ethan Quinn, a channel dedicated to exposing and explaining the ideology driving wokeness. Above all, a parent's responsibility is to safeguard their children from harm. While there have always been parents who have abused or neglected their children, today we are seeing the rise of a new form of abuse, the sacrificing of children by parents to gain woke credit.
If we can't admit that in certain enclaves there is some level of trendiness to the idea of being anything other than straight, then this is not a serious science-based discussion. It's a blow being struck in the culture wars using children as cannon fodder.
And an irrational person knows that young children need their parents to guide and teach them. Children cannot make life-defining decisions for themselves. For example, a few days ago, my 6-year-old nephew told me he was quitting school to become a professional soccer player. Of course, his parents will not allow him to do so because they are not idiots. But the same cannot be said for many parents nowadays.
And very shortly after that, she told us she was a girl. And we believe her.
Hey, Wesley.
Yeah,
Are you a boy or a girl?
a boy and a girl.
What are your pronouns?
Him and she.
How do you know?
That's how I feel.
See right here, this is his sex. He is a boy, he goes by he, him. I had no issues at his past school, and I don't expect to have any issues here. And I swear, it was like Karen, the transphobic secretary, was just waiting on us that day. She said she wouldn't put my child in the school system as his name because it has to match a birth certificate. But again, had no issues at the last school. I told her I absolutely would not enroll my child as a female. And she said, you will and you are. She enrolled my child as a female, then sent mail to my house with my child's dead name on it. At this point, my child is supposed to start school on Monday and is enrolled in the system as a female. Every single teacher in the school knew about my child, and the students were told a little girl was coming to class.
Here's your reminder that unless someone tells you their gender, you literally have no way of telling. And yes, that includes your own children. I don't care how young they are.
Your sex is the best guess that a doctor had when you were born. They looked at you and guessed. We're just guessed. We're waiting for you.
Wait a minute.
They guess your sex.
You had a penis and yet they guessed.
Yes. Yeah. They often.
A doctor.
Yeah. They often conflate this fact that there are people who have differences or disorders of sex development. There's a tiny number of people. I mean, a few people do need investigations.
0.02%.
Exactly. And even then, mostly they're getting investigated for conditions that don't cast doubt on their sex. It's just their genitals have not developed normally. So, I mean, probably about half a dozen people a year in this country, in Britain, have their sex assigned at birth. The rest of us, the doctor writes it down.
Children need adults to tell them what to eat, when to go to sleep, not to put their hands on the stove, and thousands of other things. Without adult guidance, children would never make it to adulthood. Yet there is a growing trend of absolute madness among woke parents, who insist on allowing children who cannot even tie their shoelaces to change their gender. Now it's impossible to change your gender. All you can do is make yourself look like the opposite gender, and if adults want to do that, that is their business. But children do not come up with this idea on their own. It must be presented to them.
Yes, I was very upset to see evidence from your book and others that teachers and doctors perhaps are latching on to a child who expresses the slightest doubt about this and then it affirms them as being the opposite gender to their sex.
I mean, it's worse than that they latch onto it. They suggest sell it.
Just like me. So Nash, just like me, is non-binary.
Right.
So they aren't sure if they're a boy or a girl.
Parents, teachers, the media, and even doctors are planting these ideas into children's minds.
Yes.
These books for 2 and 3 and 5-year-olds that say you must examine your gender.
I've got here a quote from a girl from America. I think she must have been about 12 when this happened to her. She says, I was in a very liberal school, And she says there was so much peer pressure to either be gay or trans at this school. Basically, it felt like you weren't cool if you were heterosexual. This made me even question myself quite a few times, even though I'm heterosexual.
And like a parasite, these ideas are taking over the vulnerable minds of children, leading to lifelong confusion, irreversible medical procedures, and sterilization.
Does your mom say you have to be LGBT?
No.
I can choose what I want to be, but
Go ahead, Lex. Go ahead. Keep talking. Say what you're saying.
My mom doesn't matter if I am gay or lesbian or any of that. She doesn't care. All she cares about is that I'm a part of it. And if I'm not a part of it, she'll try to convince me to join it.
What are you saying right now?
Facts.
That I would convince you to join what?
The LGBTQIA plus community.
Clearly, this child has been forced into adopting woke ideology. Young children want to make their parents happy, and this mother, like many others, has made her son believe that if he is straight, he will be a disappointment to her. There's no doubt that this is emotional manipulation. Sadly, this trend is being promoted by celebrities, with people like Charlize Theron claiming her 3-year-old son is transgender, and Megan Fox dressing all 3 of her boys like girls. Other celebrities like Angelina Jolie and Will Smith have encouraged their children's gender confusion. So why is this happening? Why are parents introducing and encouraging these ideas in their children? The answer is simple. Like the ancient Inca, they value their allegiance to their cult more than their children's lives. They are willing to sacrifice their children's health, mental and emotional well-being, and entire future to use their children as a token display of their allegiance to the woke cult. Make no mistake, these parents are not progressive, compassionate, or inclusive. They are as backward-thinking and selfish as the ancients who sacrificed children in the hope of receiving blessings from their gods. This madness needs to stop. Children are a gift and a responsibility, not something to be traded for woke credit. History will judge these people with the same disdain as we have for others who have sacrificed children in the past. Please share this video, because YouTube is shadow banning me. And please like, subscribe, and comment. You can also support this channel by downloading my book, Ministry of Truth: How Propaganda Fuels the Culture War. And please join me every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday as we learn how to survive Wokeland together. Until then, this is Ethan Quinn saying, stay free.